Hey guys, welcome to the channel. You guys are asking me to talk about the situation with Chinese companies potentially getting delisted. And I want to talk about it. I saw this news yesterday and I got a little bit worried for some of our favorite companies. I've invested in NIO. I've done a bunch of swing trades on NIO. My 3-year-old did a swing trade on NIO, if you guys remember that video. So I really like NIO. And this information, this news worries me a little bit. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to read an article. We're going to look at how the stocks are performing today. We're going to talk about Kandi, which is another Chinese EV stock that you guys have been asking me to talk about that sort of sparked this whole thing. So stick around. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me for another video. I'm Richard Allen. We talk about stocks on this company, and some of the stocks we talk about are way, way up. But in this case, some of the stocks we love are way, way down right now. We're going to talk about NIO, XPENG, Li, Kandi, a bunch of Chinese companies that we're afraid might get delisted from our stock exchange here. So let's just look at this article. China stocks delisting threat grows for Alibaba, JD.com, NIO amid House vote, and Kandi fraud allegations. So let's just go through this real quick. New fraud allegations against Chinese electric vehicle maker Kandi Technologies come at a particularly bad time for Wall Street. On Wednesday, the House has scheduled a vote on the Holding Foreign Companies Accountable Act, which could lead to the eventual delisting of Alibaba, JD, NIO, and other Chinese stocks. Because of this, Alibaba fell 4.9% in Monday's stock trading. JD fell 4.5%. NIO fell 6.5%. Yesterday, it fell more today. This bill, which already cleared the Senate in May, could kick Chinese companies off U.S. exchanges within the next 3 years. That would happen unless their auditors come under supervision of the Public Company Accounting Oversight Board. China's already come out back in May and they said, look, this is impinging on our national sovereignty. I mean, this sucks. A couple of videos ago, when I made, a lot of videos ago, I talked about NIO. And there were a few of you in the comments saying, like, you can't trust these numbers. They're coming from China. And there are a lot of people in the US that just absolutely hate China, like, period, right? So in a way, I didn't think much of those comments, okay? But you're right. You're right. Any company around the world, any company here in the US, we've seen fraud allegations before, right? Like Nikola, we just talked about Nikola. There's issues with that company. GM pulled out of that deal. They're like, no, I'm not going to work with you anymore. So we see fraud allegations with companies all the time, even here in the US. So could a Chinese company like NIO be inflating their numbers? Yes. And that's what's going on with Kandi right now. So let's talk about Kandi. Hindenburg Research, they're a short seller. They came out and they said that Kandi is falsifying their revenue using fake sales. So essentially what this says is that Kandi has a bunch of different shell companies essentially, and these companies are inter-reporting things, right? And that sometimes, like, people on the board of directors of the other companies also sit on Kandi's board of directors, and Kandi's CEO is on the board of directors of these other companies, and some of them share phone numbers, and it's all this convoluted mess, and essentially Kandi's reporting fake sales. That over 50% of their sales are fake. And they have documents and investigations to prove some of this stuff. So in this case, it doesn't sound like it's just a short seller attack trying to make money. But in Kandi's case, right, Kandi dropped from a high of almost $15 per share just last week, Monday, down to under $9 per share. So that was over a 40% drop in the last week because of stuff like this, because of what's going on. And it was a very sharp drop today. Li Auto only had a little bit of a decline, 3% down. XPENG, 10%, almost 11% down today. NIO, 10% down today, plus yesterday's dip. But keep in mind, with some of these stocks, right, you guys are asking me, is it a good time to buy? I'd be afraid to buy these stocks right now. And the reason I say that is because NIO is up 2,000% over the last year, right? Like thousands of percent, right? It's gone up a lot, right? If we go back to just June for NIO, NIO was trading at just under $5 per share. And now still after the drop, it's at $45. So there's more room for these to fall. I would let this situation play out. Now, one thing to think about, right, is that the Congress doesn't necessarily control what happens here. Okay, they can pass laws and pass these things, but it's up to, it sounds like, the Treasury Secretary or the Treasury in general to implement these rules. So here, our Treasury controls implementing regulations for whatever Congress passes. So, in August, a policy group led by Steven Mnuchin, that's our current Treasury Secretary, offered a more lenient approach. So what they did to get around Beijing's refusal to let the PCAOB, that's the Public Auditors Committee, review the work of Chinese auditors, Mnuchin would permit Chinese firms to engage a U.S. accounting firm to do the job. So essentially, a Chinese firm would say, hey, we'll hire this company. Now, that isn't as stringent as a public committee appointed by the government, right? Like, think about it, okay? They could find whatever accounting firm they want in the U.S., big or as small as they want, and maybe they're using Quicken, I don't know, right? If you guys have seen Breaking Bad, that's a good joke. But in coming weeks, Securities and Exchange Commission Chair Jay Clayton may bring Mnuchin's more flexible approach up for a commission vote. So there's some worries here. Also, we have a new Treasury Secretary already picked. Janet Yellen is going to be our Treasury Secretary. So she's going to control the fate of whether these companies get delisted or not. So until we hear from the government, until we hear from Janet Yellen, until we know how this vote is going to go on Wednesday, remember, on Wednesday, the House is scheduled to vote on Holding Foreign Companies Accountable Act. Let's see how this vote goes. Maybe they strike it down. I don't know, right? And if that happens, I guarantee you these stocks are going to soar on Thursday like crazy. So it's a evolving situation. I personally wouldn't buy now. I'd be scared to buy now because I don't want any of you guys to get hurt. I don't want you to make a decision right now that when there's so much more room. Remember, NIO trading at $5 per share, $4.70 per share on June 2nd. It was just 6 months ago, guys. It was just 6 months ago. And now it's above $40 per share. So there is more room for these to fall, but imagine that on Wednesday we get good news. Thursday we're going to see new highs for like a stock like NIO. I like seriously, this will zoom up like crazy. It is potentially a really good opportunity to get in on these stocks at a cheaper deal, but I would wait because I don't think we know for sure how this is going to evolve. I would stay away from Kandi until we know exactly what's going to happen. I would anticipate Kandi's going to come out and say, hey, everything's good. They're going to release a statement. Everything's good. None of our stuff is fake. We're actually going to buy shares. You can have confidence in us. I think that's likely what's going to happen with Kandi. I mean, anything could happen, honestly. We've seen companies rebound from these kind of attacks from short sellers, but it sounds like Hindenburg Research has a lot of material to back up what they're talking about. So, hold off on investing right now. That would be what I would say. But again, guys, I'm just a guy on YouTube. I'm not an expert. This really could be an opportunity for us to get in on these stocks cheaper. If we have good news Wednesday, I personally will be investing in NIO after hours, whenever we get the news, Thursday morning, whatever, because I think we'll see the stock shoot up like crazy. Try not to panic right now. If you're holding these companies, it might be a good time to sell. I don't know, right? I think there's more room for this to go down over the next few days. Let's figure out what the news is going to be tomorrow, and just be careful out there. Please, trade safe, drink responsibly. No, but seriously, be responsible with your trading. Don't panic. That's always the best thing to do. I appreciate you guys. Seriously, we're almost at 10,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys asking me to do this kind of thing. I love that you guys appreciate my opinion. I probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but I'm glad to be making these videos, and I'm glad to have you guys as a community and all the dialogue down below. I appreciate it. As always, if you didn't already do it, click that beautiful red subscribe button down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.